This is why, being in the radio business, you have to separate yourself from a lot of the guests that we have here on the air. Now, I'm going to give you one scenario with this guy named Eddie Trunk. Okay, he's supposed to be a so-called big musical guru and constantly shows off that he knows all the facts about all the musicians. Well, let me tell you about this guy. What has happened here is, and this is where we separate, he likes to have guests on his show, and then he tries to overwhelm them and become buddy with them. And they're always appearing on the show when they can. However, all it takes is one individual to turn him down for a guest appearance, and all of a sudden, he becomes a turncoat. Now, this is how delusional this guy is. Right now, musical superstars like David Lee Roth, Paul Stanley of Kiss, and John Bon Jovi, they no longer feel that Eddie Trunk, or we can refer to him as Eddie Who, is no longer relevant to talk to. So they might have blown him off a couple of times about doing his show or not returning a call. All of a sudden, now these guys aren't buddy with him. So what does he do? He starts to bash them. He starts to critique their singing. I cannot believe what I was told. This Eddie Trunk said several things. He's clueless. Just because they don't want to be on his show or be his friend. He stated that Bon Jovi no longer knows how to rock. They now are strictly an adult contemporary band. Mr. Eddie Trunk, who probably has less talent than John Bon Jovi in his pinky, just because John Bon Jovi or one of the members won't appear on the show. Then, this guy must have passionate hate for David Lee Roth. Now, I even tuned in and heard this. All he kept doing was bashing David Lee Roth's singing. Oh, he can't sing anymore. He's atrocious. He shouldn't be in the band. But David Lee Roth doesn't want to do a show. However, Sammy Hagar always and even hangs out with this Eddie Trunk guy, and all of a sudden, Sammy Hagar is the best singer of all time. Come on, Eddie Trunk, get a clue. Number 3, who's on the bash list? Paul Stanley. Why? Because Paul Stanley and Kiss do not want to be bothered with Eddie Trunk. So what does Eddie Trunk do? He has a forum and he used it and he bashes Paul Stanley's singing. Now, it got so bad. He was saying, oh yeah, David Lee Roth should probably retire. Paul Stanley should probably retire. Next thing he'll be saying is John Bon Jovi should be retired. Eddie. I know I'm wasting time on this guy, but you just gotta listen. Your voice isn't the same as it was 10 years ago. Your rock knowledge has faded. Is it time for you to get out of radio? Is it time for you to get out of radio? Stop. Just because they do not want to do your show, stop the bashing. Stop trying to be buddy-buddy. When we have a guest on the Stone and Digital Dave radio show, you don't see me begging behind them. You don't see us trying to befriend them. We know they're usually the plug. We have a good time. If they want to hang out and call, fine. But I'm not. And Digital Dave aren't going to try to run behind these guys. And then once they get dumped, then all of a sudden you bash them. Eddie Trunk, once again, if you ever had talent, and I'm talking about musical talent, which you don't have, your talent is pale compared to David Lee Roth, Paul Stanley, and John Bon Jovi. You are clueless just because they don't want to be your friend. Alright, coming on the Stone and Digital Dave radio show. I probably wasted way too much time, but I just had to get that off my chest. Alright, we'll be back on the Stone and Digital Dave radio show with our top five. You'll just have to find out what they are.